With the millennial generation, you're moving to a different type of customer. They're so used to technology, they don't want to queue, they don't want to wait. There's a certain impatience which hasn't really existed in financial services before. So that means speed is important. Decision making, turnaround time means that where a turnaround time for deciding on a loan of a month in the past would have been great, even now a week is too long. So what do? How do you respond to this? You're not just doing a small loan. But if the small loan is the entry point into your system, and if you use this small loan as a stepping stone for bigger loans, you've lost the entry point into your system.
Today, the fintech industry is estimated to be worth nearly $870 billion. Access to loans, payment services, savings accounts, investment platforms, and more is quite literally at our fingertips. Money can be transferred across countries and continents with the touch of a button, and without any involvement of a bank. In a market where disruptive technologies can offer financial services at high speeds and low costs, industry specialists offer thoughts on how to govern in a digital world.
I think the biggest thing for boards is really to think more broadly about their digital strategy. It isn't something that tends to be top of mind, but it is something that is a new reality that boards need to be well equipped to think about and deal with. But then practically, I do think that management needs to help keep boards informed, because a lot of times board members don't come with those particular skills. And so management needs to be creative in how they get board buy-in with respect to digital processes in general.
Digitization is something we must embrace. It's inevitable. And it's just changed. It's already changing the financial landscape. Very, very important. Communication and engagement are very, very key. That we must engage all the stakeholders involved, from the board, management, staff, and consumers. This will ensure that we have buy-in in the digitization landscape, and also to ensure that that digitization is incorporated in all our policies.
So it's very important for the board to know what's happening in the market. So a market analysis is very important, and also when just for the board to be asking questions about how does the microfinance institution remain relevant in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So those are very important questions.
Continue the culture of anticipating change, being able to read what might happen in the future, and continue not to sit in a comfort position, but continue to anticipate change in terms of the customers, change in terms of the market, change in terms of regulations, and change in terms of products.
I think one of the first things for boards is to figure out what their competitive advantage is. I think that's the number one thing. Strategically, it's really, instead of following trends in other countries or trying to emulate new strategies, I think a lot of the boards would do well by saying, what are we good at? Who are our customers, and how do we create products that really serve them? Because I think the answers are usually within the bank. It's not trying to emulate somebody else where the context might be completely different.
You need a digital strategy, and you can't really wait for this digital strategy. You need to begin on a digital journey. It need not be chaotic. It need not spell the death of the institution, but it is going to create change. What could spell the death of the institution is if you do nothing.
I think digital field applications and tablets that are being used to digitize the capture of data in the field, I think that's really changing the way people are doing business. And we have an expectation now, both as a customer and as an institution, that if we digitize, we can speed up our processes, we give better customer service, we start to learn more about our customers.
The reason that the fintechs are actually coming up is because they have a different way of utilizing data. Talking to the fintech shows a different mindset, shows that they're looking at the world differently, shows a mastery of data that you simply, as a financial institution, don't have. If you're not set up for using data and exploiting data and making it work for you, then somebody else is going to occupy that space.
first and foremost, to understand what digital is, you have to manifest that in the way that you structure your team, the way that you focus your team, the way that you focus on KPIs and metrics. And that, in my view, needs to be coming from the board. It needs to be pushing the management team to be aligned to that. Very often the whole concept of digital gets pushed to the side of a business. It's siloed, it's experimented on the side, it's not fairly resourced, and it's destined to fail. And I think that it is the board's responsibility to make sure that they create an environment that supports the development of this digital solution, of this digitization of businesses.
The board has to be learning all the time. They must understand that there's nothing static. If you don't learn and you're not willing to change and adapt, you lose out. That's point number one. Point number two, because digitalization is specialized and is kind of new, they must be willing to consult and have advisors or even experts on the board. And then point number three is that the board should be more representative. I'm an advocate of consumer protection and advocacy. I really advocate for board members to ensure that consumers or their clients are represented on the board. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know for how long, but that's something we must incorporate on the board. And in that respect, the board has to ensure that management, especially when it comes to innovation, that when they vet, whenever they're coming up with new ideas or products or services, they have to consult the consumers.
They need to be diverse, both in their thinking and in the personalities on the board. Secondly, that they should not be afraid of technology and being digital, that in fact it should be part of their day-to-day. As is the human dimension of the work that they do.
Don't be intimidated by the technology. You know, the technology is a tool to deliver your strategy, and your strategy, and it should be a digital strategy, but you don't need to know what all the technology is about. So I think don't get intimidated by it. There are technology experts out there that can help you through that, but just decide what you want to deliver as a customer experience, what type of customer you want to deal with, and what that sort of vision should look like. And don't worry too much about all the noise of the different technologies, because I think that will come once you have a firm definition of what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Disruptive innovations are here with us, so it's change or die.